When you are.
Hello, everybody. This is Sree. You are on BizBuzz, what matters the most on your business, and sponsored by My Work Belt. My Work Belt is the productivity software for service-based small business community. And if you are a service-based small business owner, please take a look at it. And if you are a listener learning concepts from BizBuzz, please subscribe and like us. Today we have a wonderful guest. His name is Joe, and Joe has been a builder and remodeling business owner since 2008. And JCS Building and Remodeling, they serve the customers, both residential and commercial buildings in Metro Detroit area. Whereas Joe just informed me that I did not know up until now that he can serve the customers all over the Michigan, which is pretty huge area. Joe, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm well, Sree. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for joining me on the show today. And you and I have known for such a long time, and we never thought of taking your experience and sharing with the community. So today I'm really excited to take your experience and your knowledge of doing the business with the rest of the community. So taking this into account, so tell me a little bit more about when did you start? What is the beginnings of your business?
So back in 2008, I will say I was actually in automotive. I've been an automotive engineer, a plastics engineer for the majority of my career outside of college. When I went to school for college, I went to be a designer. And when I came out of college, I got right into the automotive industry and started helping out with a family-owned business, and it turned into an automotive career from plastics and such. So componentry of automotive parts. So from a business perspective, I've been watching my dad run a business since I was 13 years old. So knowing not how to run it, but just that there were some things involved in being ethical, being a good manager, good boss, working well with others, knowing when to let your team do the work and to hold back, and knowing when to step in. Those were all things that I've learned over time. And in 2008, I was solely in automotive, and that huge residential mortgage crisis happened. And just like a lot of people, I got laid off. And in order to fend for my income, instead of just sitting at home and hoping something came to me, I went and started doing simply just drop ceilings for people who were finishing basements and such. And then I started doing things for the bank. It was a different company then. That we were doing the bank work for. But as the bank work sort of dried up, I suggested that residential remodeling was the direction to go. And I went out, I got my builder's license, and away we went. What?
There is so much similarity to what you have gone through in your career path and mine. My father was a small business owner back in India, and we both worked together to build a business. And I am an engineer. I came to America as an engineer, and I started working and then started doing my own business in 2006. And I was working and started business in 2006, and then became a full-time business owner in 2008. In the same meltdown, so
Same
much
timeline.
parallel. Yeah. No wonder why we
Literally
both get along very well.
That's right. Great minds think alike, right?
Yeah.
So
So
over the years from 2008 to when JCS Building started in 17, there was a
right.
chunk of time there that I was involved with another company, not necessarily the owner, but just
Yeah.
involved with the company, doing a lot of the sales and such. And sadly, the company didn't survive the times, but that's okay. Some companies don't, but that wasn't without learning. I think that an important thing to do in life is to fail. I think one of the most important things that I learned is in that experience was how that failure could improve me in the long run, which is when I started my own company in 2017, JCS. I've not had any marketing up until recently when my brother joined it. He's more of a tech guy, so he got us a logo and a website. But I didn't have any of that since 2017 because it'd been word of mouth. And that's what I was kind of referring to with the learning. I learned how to run this business, do the work, accommodate people, understand what they wanted, and
Right.
execute. You know, and that was a major part of just having a good, solid name for yourself, which is the word of mouth. I mean, that's where most any business is these days. Is you're always
Reputation
going to
in
have
the
word of mouth,
market.
but in construction alone is you're dealing with people's homes, and it's extremely personal. It's one of the most personal businesses out there because you're modifying someone's home and they're relying on you to make their home better. And at the end of the day, I have a legal right, being a builder, a licensed builder, to do this to the best of my ability. And then I have an internal moral right, a character and integrity that I want to do this right for everyone else. So I always joked around with people saying that in the automotive business, no one has ever stopped me and said, "Hey, thanks for engineering that part so well," or "Thanks for saving your company so much money so I could buy my car." No one's ever thanked me for all of the work I did for since I was in my teens, in the automotive
Mhm.
industry. But at the end of every job, at the end of every kitchen, basement, bathroom, addition, whatever it might be, even something as simple as painting a couple rooms, they always say thank you. And it's a very rewarding part of this job to know that the homes that we're renovating are going to be the backdrop for Christmas holiday pictures and Thanksgiving and birthday parties and get-togethers and Super Bowl parties. I remember a basement I was finishing. I was literally finishing the last bit of cleanup and caulking as their Super Bowl guests were coming down the stairs. But we did it. We told them we were done, and we were done by the Super Bowl party. And it went off
For
without a hit.
the for the for the business owners in the market, based on your experience of going from being a career engineer into a small business owner, and now you're running your own business. So, what do you suggest related to reputation in the market? What are the steps that they need to do to keep the 2 or 3 steps that they need to do to keep the reputation in the market or improve the reputation in the market
You're talking about individual reputation or
or
the reputation
business?
of contractors.
No, business reputation. I'm a business owner, right?
Yeah.
So likewise, like you, and there are many other business owners who are watching this show, right?
So
So
I
what
will.
what are the 2 steps that you suggest that
Well,
they should
the
do to
one
keep the
step that I
reputation?
could tell you that I heard long ago. I heard two pieces of advice, both actually from my dad. And the first was because being the boss's son, you had to do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't just float and skate. And then the statement was that I had to do twice the work for half the respect. That was what he told me. He goes, "You're going to have to do twice the work for half the respect. That's the way it is."
Right.
And that's, you know what? I
Yep.
learned that. I learned how hard I had to work just to gain the respect of the people that worked for my dad, and that ultimately then ended up working for and with me as my
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities grew through the company. And then the other thing that he said is, if it didn't get done, it's because you didn't do it. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to be hands on all over the time, all over the place, doing everything on my own. It's, did you hire a guy and set up a process that that task could get done properly and move the company along? Did you fire the person that was holding you back? Did you set up a website? Did you and find out to set up a person to do email? Do you have an office staff? Do you have a guy to clean the building? Do you have a guy to maintain things? Setting those things up as a business owner, if it didn't get done, it's because you didn't do it. And that's one of the main things that, as the business owner, the buck, as they always say, stops with the owner. It stops with the person running the show. When you are on a
Yes.
cruise ship, when you're on a cruise ship, there's one captain.
Taking that into account, how do you perceive the application of technology in on a business? Is it good, bad, and what to watch for? What do you think?
Well, there's been a transition amongst the construction and remodeling field over the last 15, 20 years. It's been obviously the introduction of the internet, introduction to Google reviews, things like Yelp, Angie's List, House, all of these other applications that offer the John Q public sort of a third party look at what somebody is really. And it was meant for an opportunity for, if someone had shortcomings, it could be not exposed, but at least say, you could hire this guy, but maybe watch out for this. Or this guy is great, hire him, you'll have nothing to worry about, or don't hire this guy. So the technology has opened up your exposure and your honesty as a business owner, because there's so many inputs of someone's opinion. And again,
feedback, basically market feedback.
Yeah, it is, and especially in the home building business and remodeling. Again, there's all the feels. You are working with someone's home, and that is where they hang their hat at night, where their kids sleep. That is their fortress of solitude, to bring up a Superman pun. But the point is, they take it very seriously, almost as serious as anything out there in this world. Anyone can go buy a car and go buy clothes and go buy whatever you want to buy, but when you hire someone to remodel your home, you really got to make sure you're hiring somebody you can trust. And the internet has helped that. It also has done a little bit of hurting, but mostly the helping. If you can get past the pettiness of a lot of it. If you make a name for yourself in the past, you had to be a word of mouth. You had to be all word of mouth. There was no internet 15, 20 years ago where this really was, you could just easily look up all of these reviews and all of these messages and posts on forum boards and such. So the technology has helped tremendously. Now, that's from the customer's perspective. From my perspective, this little thing has been a godsend. I can run my entire company from my phone. I have a QuickBooks app. I'm sure your tool belt has an app. I've got email to my phone. I'm texting with my clients. I can send pictures and technology. I can send FaceTime. So much easier nowadays to be a remodeling contractor, to work through all of the little things that a business owner must do. Because as they say, the devil's in the details. You have to record the details. You have to understand all of the details. And technology has helped me immensely in that regard.
Only that, technology is also helping you to keep track of your cost, and so that you don't go cost overruns.
Yes.
And a lot of times, small businesses that I've observed is that they knock on the wood, cross their finger, and there is some money left in the bank at the end of the year. But technology is helping at every single job. You be able to know whether you made or lost money if you can properly track all your expenses in it. And that
goes back to what I said, is if you didn't do it, it didn't get done. So that is my biggest pitfall. The one thing that I do the worst is the books. I'm just, I don't, who likes math? No one likes math. But
play by the strengths, right? Play by the strengths.
It's just so it's very tedious. So it takes away from my time that I need to be with my client, be with my workers, be with my teams. It's to the point now where sooner than later, I'm going to have to hire somebody to take that over from me. It's just too tedious is where I'm going with this. It's not that I don't do it. Clearly I do. I have to, but I really need to get someone that I can trust to take over that responsibility because I've got to focus on growing versus doing.
They're all consequences, right? To systematize your business. There is no other way but growing forward.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for great advices and possibilities for the future businesses. So, one last question I would like to ask you. A new young entrepreneur who is on the fence, if they wanted to become an entrepreneur, they wanted to go join a company to join, because now you have both facets of your career. You were working as an engineer for a large corporation, and now you became a small business owner, and now you're responsible for bringing meal on the table for multiple people, right? So what do you suggest to these young entrepreneurs who is on the fence?
Well, I will say this, that in the world today, I have three boys, 18, 20, and 21. And their friends and the younger kids today don't have a lot of patience. And I would say that patience is something that you need in a business because you have to trust the process. It will not happen overnight. It's something that you have to keep persistently focusing on. You have to keep you cannot take your foot off the gas. You take your foot off the gas for one moment and you're 10 steps behind. But the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of things today happen very rapidly. They're very fast. If you just be patient with the process, be patient with moving forward and not trying to move so fast, too fast, because you get too big before you learn how to manage that growth, you'll fail just like that. But being patient in this world as a business owner is I would say one of the most underrated qualities that you have to have as a business owner, because everyone wants to go real fast right now. I want the big money right now. It doesn't work like that. To truly have a foundation that will grow into a skyscraper that won't fall over, it takes time to build that. And you have to trust that. And I think a lot of kids that are nowadays are so focused on fast that they get discouraged. And they get discouraged that it's not happening in 4, 5, 6 months or after 2 or 3 jobs. I finished hundreds of basements and kitchens, and I'm still learning to this day about how to do this and how to change and how to keep up with the trends and keep up with new construction techniques. It's a never-ending learning process, but it takes time, and that time requires patience. And that's the best thing I could tell somebody is just trust the process. And
great advice. Thank you very much, Joe. And it's if I summarize it greatly, I mean, you have shared quite a good nugget here for everybody. So you have to work twice to earn the half the respect.
you have to work twice as hard to earn half the respect. And if it didn't get done, it's because you didn't do it.
Done because you didn't do it. And then application of technology and recognizing the importance of technology in maintaining the customer reputation and maintaining the efficiency within the organization. And for the new entrepreneurs, patience. Patience is key before you jump into becoming an entrepreneur. Joe, thank you very much for joining me today. That's a lot to take on, but I hope all the visitors take these advices and apply even one to grow their business and keep having a happy life, happy time for their family as well. Thank you very much.
This has been a long time coming, Sree. We should do this again.
We can do it. I would love to do it again. Excellent. I like it. Thank you very much. Yep. Have a wonderful day.